clean stat sheet for you and that you were hitting the ball great. A lot of the players have talked about the conditions being really tough here at Indian Wells, but I'm not sure if you're having that experience.
Yeah, the conditions here are actually very tough. The ball's very bouncy, the conditions are bouncy, so it makes it naturally tough to return. I think Zeballos today, the court helps him a lot with his serve. It's a tricky serve to return, and his forehand naturally gets a pretty shapy ball on it. But I think serving is the key here. You got to make a lot of first serves and then try and play aggressive. And obviously I've been serving pretty well, so I kept that up today, which was good.
The rest of your game, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm trying to play more doubles, and I think that's already helped me with my volleys and my my transitioning game. But definitely on returns, it's helped me return a lot better, and I like to hit and come in a lot, so that's helped me there as well. So I think the doubles, my energy in doubles and the way I've been playing doubles is carrying over to my singles, and it's been helping me a lot.
How much did you enjoy the doubles the other night with Nenad and to score that big win?
Yeah, it felt good, but I was nervous at the start of the match. To be on the court with the Bryan brothers, and then Zimnic has been #1 in the world in doubles, so I definitely felt like the odd one out there. But I knew that Zimnic was telling me a lot, what to do. So I felt comfortable pretty early on. But it was probably one of the best feelings I've had on tennis court, beating those guys. Obviously, they're still probably the best doubles team out there, and the greatest of all time. So it was a pretty good win.
Seen you since Acapulco. You got another big win there, obviously over Djokovic. How much did that victory mean to you? He's somebody I know you've kind of been hungry to play for a while because he was the one big four guy you hadn't run into yet.
Yeah, I drew a lot of confidence from that. I knew that everyone was sort of waiting for us to sort of match up, and I knew that I had to have a great serving day. I think he's the most complete player out of everyone I've ever played. So I played really well there, but obviously that felt good. I wanted to win that match. But I knew that I could win. I definitely had the belief from the start that I could match it with him, and I've drawn a lot of confidence from that.
Go ahead.
Is there anything that match that you can take and kind of replicate?
Just serving. I hit 25 aces in 2 sets, probably against the best returner in the world. So I know that I can serve, at a high level, and I can always try and, serve's the one thing that you can control every match. It's in your control. So I think that's just what that's given me a lot of confidence.
Pretty unique stat where you've beaten Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer all in your first meeting with them. What do you think makes you able to get up for those toughest guys that you've never seen in person before like that? 'Cause it's not something you would expect from a player coming up.
Yeah, that's why I play the game, I guess. You play the best people in the world at some of the best venues in the world, and I've never had a problem getting up for those matches. I think it's more the matches in the backcourts against guys that are really trying to fight out and grind it out. They're the matches that are dangerous for me. Like for instance today, I think last year or the year before that match, then it's not as easy as it is now. So I'm just trying to bring the same sort of big match mentality to these smaller tournaments and smaller matches as well.
Nick, what would you say about the people who think that you should have a full-time coach? One of the few guys who doesn't really have a full-time coach. Do you think you need it? Are you happy where you're at? Are you getting consultations from certain guys, or just where are you at with that?
Yeah, I'm obviously looking, but it's not easy. I want to try and find someone who cares about me first as a person, rather than just my tennis. But it's hard. Like I'm struggling at the start of the year, and then I finally get in a good space, and then I beat Djokovic, and then it's like. That's not what I'm thinking about at the moment. I'm just trying to stay happy. I'm trying to stay in a good place mentally. I think it's carrying over to my tennis at the moment. That's the main thing I'm doing right now. Is I'm just trying to stay happy on the court, try and enjoy myself.
Is it tough to find a coach? Is it you don't just walk in and say, hey, would you be my coach?
Of course.
Yeah, how difficult is it to find the right guy?
It's not easy. Everyone is putting their hand up to coach me. Anyone that says they're not is a lie, because I know they are. I'm just trying to stay happy. I think it all just starts in practice. I'm trying to really just put my head down in practice and train hard. And that's where it starts, I think, just trying to have fun in the practice court. And I think the last couple of weeks, that's what I've been doing, and it's been going well.
Why do you think everyone wants to coach you?
I didn't say everyone wants to coach me, but anyway, if you ask someone, they're like, oh, I'm not really interested. They probably are.
What do you think attracts them to you?
I don't know. I guess they see a lot of potential in me to improve, and they're excited to sort of come with me on my journey up. They know there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and that's what makes it interesting. So I'm assuming they're, yeah.
One thing I've been seeing a little bit from you recently is a lot of aggression on your return game. Today in your last game, I remember I saw you step pretty far into the court and take a nice crack at it. I heard a lot of people in the crowd whispering saber, and I was wondering, is that something you've been actively working on in your game?
I'm not. I haven't been really working on it, but I think it's good to keep mixing up on returns. Hitting a couple behind the baseline, hitting a couple inside the baseline. It just throws that rhythm off a little bit. Obviously, Zeballos doesn't have the biggest serve, but against great servers, you can throw that rhythm off a little bit, and that can help you get a look at their service games. But yeah, I think I'm returning at a higher level than I was at the start of right at the start of the year.
What are your thoughts on Zverev? I mean, it's a matchup that all of us on this side are keen for and looking forward to. But what about yourself? What are your thoughts going into that one?
I'm looking forward to it. We've been obviously close mates for a long time. I played juniors with him, and I played him, once in juniors, and I thought, he had a big game then, and he's obviously put it together, and he's had some great results. He's beaten some big names. I know it's going to be tough, especially on this surface. If he plays his aggressive game, it's not going to be easy for me to get looks on his serve, and it's the same for me as well. So if I go out there and play my style of tennis, and if I lose, I'm not going to be surprised. But if I win, I'm not going to be surprised either. It's that type of match.
How much does it help your happiness on tour that Ajla back out?
Yeah, I think ultimately that's what's helped me the last couple of weeks, especially in Acapulco. Just seeing her back on the court and her having her first win in her first match back after a year and however many months it was, it kind of just took the pressure off me a little bit. I just played it freely and I was enjoying myself, and just seeing her happy was the key for me. But that's been pretty important for me to see her back out there.
And Nick, just back on coaching briefly.
Yes.
You talked about wanting someone who cares for you as a person.
Yeah.
What else do you need, though? And would you consider someone with a double specialty, given the talents you already have and the skills you want to build on?
Possibly. Yeah, as I said, there's a lot of great coaches out there, but I don't really care who they are. Like, it doesn't have to be a big name for me. I don't know. It's hard to sort of get. I've been to a career high of 13 without a coach, and it's not so easy for me to let my walls down and sort of just pick someone to join my team. So it's tough. It's not as easy as just picking a great coach and just joining a team. I want to pick someone that I'm comfortable with, that I have to travel with. And they're in my personal space. So I'm not the best person to just let my walls down and let someone in, as you guys know. So it's not an easy process.
Last question.
Nick, you said you were a big fan of Federer, but I see you watched all of them before. Why'd you pick him?
I think I like Murray as well, but Roger's just so good to watch. I like the tennis he plays, and I think he plays a low percentage type of tennis. He changes direction a lot. He takes a lot of balls early. He comes in a lot. He serves, to a lot of spots. It's just a fun, entertaining type of tennis to watch. But he's a great role model on and off the court, I think. But he's the greatest tennis player of all time. And growing up as a little kid with my friends, we always thought he was a man. So yeah, he's my favourite.